Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Marvel Legends Man-Thing Build-A-Figure Wave Overview and Man-Thing Build-A-Figure Review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This runs for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey I'm fucking with. Hype beast we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Alright, so this is kind of unorthodox. This is something that I do every so often when I'm going over an entire wave. After I've done the regular figures from the wave, I just kind of do a little overview. So I wanted to just discuss each figure just a little bit, and I have some other stuff here just to remind me about stuff that I need to talk about or stuff that people ask me about. So yeah, this is gonna be a little unorthodox, but you know, that's how I do things on this channel. So it is what it is. This will be real laid back and unscripted and so on and so forth. So alright, so Bullseye definitely ended up being my favorite figure out of the wave. It's a very solid figure, clean figure all the way through and through. You're bugging if you think the Toy Biz version is still better than this version that Hasbro put out. That's my personal opinion. I think this figure is definitely topping the Toy Biz version finally. The sculpt is just better. While the Toy Biz version does have some really nice paint application and some nice sculpted parts as far as the belt and everything is concerned, this sculpt here is just light years ahead, and the costume is more accurate. And it's a lot you can do with this guy in terms of displaying. Obviously, in a review, if you saw the review, you saw that this head will go on the Hawkeye body. This is actually probably the wrong body. In the review, I had a semi kit bash version of Hawkeye with the sleeve completely painted, because when he was running around with the Dark Avengers, he had the full sleeve. So if you wanted to do something dark from the Dark Reign or Dark Avengers era, then yeah, you could swap out the unmasked head. He appeared unmasked quite a few times throughout that era. And the head does fit on the various suited bodies. You can pop the head fully on the neck, but when you do that, you kind of lose some of the neck and it looks a little weird. So just sitting it on the suited bodies looks a little better. So if you wanted to do something with the suited body, then that is a possibility. And just a reminder that before that Dark Reign, Dark Avengers era, the Thunderbolts team that Norman Osborn was running had Moonstone and Bullseye and Venom, and they were kind of in their regular costumes before they got into Dark Avengers costumes. So I mean, it's a lot of material to pull from, a lot of inspiration for displays and what have you. Electro was definitely my least favorite out of the wave. Overall, it's not a terrible figure because you can kind of salvage the parts and kit bash her and use the extra accessories that she comes with, like the other unmasked interchangeable head, to do other things within your Marvel universe and use her for civvy or whatever the case may be. Her extra head fits on a bunch of different bodies, so that's fine. You saw that in the review, but it was a huge fail with the forearms and the proportions of the arms. It just didn't work out that well. Decent amount of display possibilities, being that we got Daredevil in the wave as well, and with the AI ninjas about to drop, you definitely have some hand ninjas for her and Daredevil to go up against. While we on the subject of Daredevil, talking about Daredevil, this was an okay figure. I do like the texture of the costume. I mentioned that quite a few times in the review. I like the fact that it came with some interchangeable hands. I wish he had a couple of different hands, as far as maybe like a chopping motion or open palm or something like that with the black gloves. That would have been great. His weapon is trash, too flimsy, wasn't really sturdy enough, and they should have definitely included an extra interchangeable unmasked head. But overall, it was a decent figure. Punisher was probably my second favorite figure out of the wave because there's just so many possibilities aside from him being the Netflix series Punisher. Somebody had asked about this head, which I forgot to pop on the body. This is the Walgreens head, the one that looks like, what's homeboy's name, Greco or something like that. It looks like a couple of different people, but it looks a little too pretty for Frank Castle. But it does work on his body. The proportions look good. It looks really good. But this body is great for a couple of different things. So let me show something else real quick too. Yeah, I meant to show this in a review and pop the actual Netflix Punisher head on the DC Multiverse Lex Luthor prison body. It's not really the same from the show because he had on the white prison uniform while all the other inmates had orange, if I'm not mistaken. In that epic jail scene, but still it can work. You can make it work if you wanted to, I guess, maybe customize one of these bodies and paint the prison uniform white, so that can work. I just have the head sitting on the neck right there too, no wax or anything. It's just kind of balancing. And then I noticed that Red Skull's head can fit on this body, and this is a pretty decent base for a Red Skull, so I could see definitely some people using this body and customizing it for Red Skull, obviously painting over this skull. And I'm not sure if Red Skull's neck is red too, if it's just his head. I know his hands are like white, as you know, look like a regular Caucasian dude. But this body with the boots and everything and the military pants and stuff, I thought this was perfect for Red Skull. And either head will fit on the body. This is the head that came with the Abomination Build-A-Figure Wave Iron Skull, if I'm not mistaken. And the first one was that first Red Skull that we got in that Captain America wave some years back, the Mandroid wave, if I'm not mistaken. Jessica Jones was probably my third favorite figure out of the wave. This figure is really nice. It's just a really great sculpt. It's great likeness to the character. A lot of possibilities for Kit Bastion for using the body other than its intended purpose as Kristen Ritter. Look at that. I got her name right. I remember her name. As a matter of fact, today, on a side note, today on Instagram, she retweeted something that we put up on the A.C.B.A. Instagram. It was a picture that my man at Kitty Games, Damian Willis, I think is his last name. I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name, D, but I don't remember if it's Willis or Wilkins, but whatever. I'm doing this on the fly. I'll have his information in the underbar, as well as all the information to Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, so you can see the picture. But it was a really dope picture that Kitty Games took, and we had tagged her, and she retweeted it. So shout out to Kristen Ritter, and this figure is dope. It's definitely one I would recommend. It's one you should definitely not pass up on. Only one per case. For this one, you know that's how the female figures are oftentimes. Bullseye is also only one per case. You should absolutely get them. Daredevils, I think they'll be around, and Elektra's one per case, but you want to grab that one because you want that additional head and opportunities to mess around with that body. But yeah, moving right along. And I believe somebody had asked me about setting up the Defenders here together, and somebody had also mentioned that this is how Jessica Jones kind of looks in the comic books right now. So let me know if that's true. But yeah, I got like I guess a comic-based Defenders here. You know, obviously a lot of people been clamoring about not having Luke Cage in this wave. I think they'll do another wave of Netflix characters. For sure. You know, there's so many to pull from, and there's so many different Marvel Knights people that they can throw in, comic-based people. So I think it'll work out. I'm hoping that they pick a better body mold for Luke Cage this time, and we definitely get him in street clothes, and we definitely get another comic-based Luke Cage. Although I'll take the Netflix series one too, but we need one of each. We need two new Luke Cage figures, no question about it. Blade was a huge disappointment. It's not a terrible figure, and I totally forgot to break out the old Toy Biz version. Definitely still better than the Toy Biz version. I can't even speak English. Better than the Toy Biz version, but you know, the Toy Biz version had some good qualities as well. I'll break that out. Actually, I have them here. But yeah, I was able to confirm that he did borrow the boots from Scourge. I haven't broken out this Scourge figure since I bought him, because I wasn't one of the people that jumped on the train of buying a bunch of these and using them as army builders. I actually kind of wish I did, but because I didn't, I have never really used them again in a display from the first time that I bought them. But you can see the legs, the lower boot is pretty much the same, and that's one of my gripes here. But even this lower torso is not the same, because you can see in the review I was saying how Blade's legs can't go back any. Look how far back that leg can go, and you can get him to stand. Yeah, sorry if I had that sideways, but yeah, you can get Scourge to stand upright without any problem, but Blade just looks like he's sticking out his butt, which looks really stupid. So, you know, hopefully they'll maybe give us another, or take another shot at it down the line somewhere, but this one was definitely a disappointment. Oh, and I'll have the direct link in the description, so you can cop this head cast if you want for Blade. It does work pretty well. I haven't put the head fully on the peg here. I do need to heat it a little bit just to get it fully on the peg. But yeah, I'll have Dave Castle's direct link to this cast in the description if you're interested in doing that, so you can have a nice variation for your blade. Oh, and almost forgot, there's the two blades side by side. So there's the Toy Biz blade on the left, and you can see that the newer blade is definitely a little taller, has a little more bulk on the body. The sculpt of the old Toy Biz one is definitely outdated. It doesn't look as good, so no question that this new one shits on the old one, but you know, it's still not the definitive blade in my personal opinion. And this guy is not really withstood the test of time. There was like a little piece of rubber band or something that kept these glasses on that popped, but you know, at least the glasses still could kind of work. I don't know if they're not going to work on him though. Yeah, that's not going to work because the head is larger, but it actually was a pretty good likeness to Wesley Snipes. And I like how they had the sword sheathed on this one and how it could actually still sit like that when you put the jacket on. And somebody had asked me about the jacket as well. Hold on a sec. So these jackets from the old Toy Biz days didn't really hold up too well. I'm not even going to try to put it on the new blade because it's just going to fall apart. It's been like flaking, and like all of those kind of like faux leather jackets from the Toy Biz days are pretty much shit now. So you're not going to really get anything out of it. I know this glare is crazy. Hold on a second. So yeah, there you can see that looks mangled. It doesn't look good at all, so I'm not even going to try to put it on the new figure. Now, I'm sure that like if you have the Mezco Punisher or something like that, that'll work. Or maybe you want to hit up my man CJ. He's doing custom clothing and stuff like that. You know, but yeah, this old one is definitely not gonna work. And just some random things to note. This little kid, people always ask me about this kid. He showed up in the Jessica Jones review on the train platform. This is from the Percy Jackson movie, like the first movie. I've never seen any of those movies, but when I saw this in the Toy Owl some years back, it was many years back, I grabbed him because it just looked perfect for some random kid. And initially I had bought him to use him as Phobos, Ares' son, and I painted his hair blonde. It was originally brown, but you will not find this figure for a decent price anywhere. For whatever reason, this figure goes for so much money online. I've seen it up to $999, which is just completely ridiculous. So don't ask me how that happens or what the deal is or why it's so rare, but that's what it is. And somebody had asked me about size comparison with Morbius and Blade. So you can see they're just about the same height. Yes, it's time for a new Kingpin for sure. I'm hoping that they don't actually give us the Netflix Kingpin. I hope we get a brand new Marvel Comics Kingpin. Here's a look at the whole wave together with the BAF, and you know, not the greatest wave ever, not the worst ever either, but decent for the first run of the Netflix wave. So hopefully the next one will be even stronger. I know a lot of people complaining about the BAF. I think mostly because they just don't really know the character and don't know what's good. A lot of people trying to sell them off and stuff like that. So I'll get into that. Before I actually get into the deco or the design of the figure and the articulation and all that stuff, I'm knocking out this size comparison real quick with the Toy Biz version. So at the time, the Toy Biz version was a very nice figure. Nice details on it. I like the little branches coming out the back and stuff like that. But I always thought he was way too slender, way too small. They definitely went with a more comic accurate look for this new one, especially how he's looked as of late throughout the Thunderbolts, through like before Dark Reign, through the Thunderbolts era where Luke Cage was running the Thunderbolts, and I'll get into that in more detail in a second. But this is a very accurate look to the comics, and it's a really good Build-A-Figure. It's a bigger Build-A-Figure. People have complained about that, especially coming off of the heels of the Mantis Build-A-Figure wave, which was not even worthy of being a Build-A-Figure. And I have Sasquatch here because this is one of the larger Toy Biz figures, and there's a misconception that the Man-Thing and Sasquatch had the same body mold. While they both had this sort of little flap here, and down here on the feet kind of look kind of similar, but you can see that Sasquatch is a very big figure. And honestly, while Man-Thing is a large Build-A-Figure, he could have even been larger. In the comics, he was drawn as big as Juggernaut, if not bigger than Juggernaut. So he could have actually been even larger, but I do like this Build-A-Figure a lot. So moving along. Man-Thing has been around since like the 70s, since like 70 or 71. He's like the Marvel Universe's like Swamp Thing, sort of, I guess. I don't know if Swamp Thing talks, though. I guess Man-Thing doesn't really talk. He has had some appearances in comics where he has talked, though, if I'm not mistaken. But he's got superhuman strength and durability, and he could like set people on fire and do this like some sort of a corrosive chemical agent. I mean, obviously he can manipulate plant life and stuff, and he's an empath, so he has some empathetic powers and what have you, and he's pretty much can't be killed. But one of his main powers that was utilized more recently is his power to teleport himself and others through some nexus, some like vortex nexus thing. And when he was a part of the Thunderbolts, they were using him to teleport to the different missions and stuff like that. How he got with the Thunderbolts, I can't really tell you, but I know before that he had made a brief appearance in the Dark Avengers comics when Norman was just going nuts and sending out the Dark Avengers to take out a bunch of people. At one point, they had a panel of Ares cutting them in half, and then after that, the next time that I saw him was as part of the Thunderbolts. So I think they did a really good job with the design here. While they could have definitely added a little more detail as far as like a little wash or something like that. I saw my man Ao Chang give him a nice wash, and it came out really nice. So if you were to do that, he would look a little more detailed, similar to how the original version looked. But one thing that they really got right was this head sculpt. I really like the way this looks and the way the eyes look. And, it could have been, like I said, it could have just been more detail here with all of these little plant parts and mushrooms and different things sticking out of him here. And even these hairy portions on the legs and arms probably could have been just a little more detailed. But I really do like this BAF. I think it came out pretty damn nice, especially in comparison to the last one we had. I know people were worried if he was going to have head articulation or not, but he does have a little head articulation. And this is an interesting body mold. I'm curious to see who else they might use for this mold. Some people said Beast. This will be way too big for Beast, though. The head is on a little ball joint, so it can kind of move left and right and up and down just a little bit, but it's not going to get that much motion, being at his, I guess, his traps or his back here is so large. It's not going to be able to turn too much, but there is some articulation there. The shoulders are on ball joints, so the arms will go up just about that far. They can do a full 360. You get an upper bicep swivel. You get a single jointed elbow, probably just a little bit more than 90 degrees. Interesting that these hands actually pop out here, but there is a swivel and a hinge on the wrist. I do like the detail that they put on the fingers here. At least they painted the fingernails. That's nice. Waist articulation, nice deep ab crunch going forward and back. There's a T-joint here at the pelvis. The legs can come up pretty far, and he can do a split, and you get an upper thigh swivel. You do get a double jointed knee. No rotation here at the shin or at the calf. You do get a hinge on the foot and a pivot. So pretty decent articulation, standard for a male this size, I suppose. Same thing on both sides as far as the arms and legs go. So display-wise, it's not a bad figure. You got quite a few possibilities. You can, put him in quite a few different situations and scenarios and displays. He was part of maybe 3 different versions of the Thunderbolts through that time when Luke Cage was running the Thunderbolts. I'm not sure who's running Thunderbolts at this particular moment in comic books, but Zatanna, that box set that we got some years ago, obviously will come in handy. These are most of the figures from that set, if not all of the figures from that set. And Zatanna and Man-Thing has some sort of weird empathetic relationship in the comics, not like a sexual relationship or anything like that, but it was some sort of magical relationship between the two of them, so that's a possibility. And then I believe at some point after the whole Thunderbolts thing and them using him to transport, he did something with the monsters or something, and Dum Dum Dugan, and I don't know, you guys would have to look that up on your own, but it's a good BAF. I mean, I see a lot of people selling the parts and selling them on eBay and stuff like that. you know, me personally, I always keep all of the BAFs no matter what. No matter how much I hate them, I keep all of the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figures. So, but this one is actually a good one. It's one that I would recommend that you get. And I mean, at the end of the day, you buying 6 to 8 figures for a bonus figure. You know, why would you get rid of the free figure or the bonus figure? So it is what it is. I think this is a good Build-A-Figure. I think it's one of the best that we've got in recent attempts from Hasbro, I suppose. So, you know, it's not that bad. And you know, I would recommend that you pick up every figure and keep this back. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm out of here. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.
Pretty sure we're just missing Songbird from this crew.